Hey, and welcome back. So, today you are just in time for my review of a couple perfumes that I sampled throughout this past week. So, lucky for you, I share with you all of my thoughts about 4 of these perfumes. So, get cozy and buckle up because I wrote some notes. So, as you know, I am on my fragrance journey. I have found that this is a new fixation for me, and I have loved every second of it. And with fragrances, especially if you're newer to your journey, I feel like a lot of us make the mistake of going in and blind buying a whole bunch of different fragrances. Specifically, you might buy full-size bottles, and I was definitely a person who did that. But I learned very quickly that I can't just go in and buy full-size fragrance bottles just because the girls on the TikTok said that they like it, because a lot of times I find that I'm not the biggest fan of them. So I stumbled upon a little life hack from, everybody else who's into fragrances and on their journey. And it was to just buy super small 1 milliliter sample bottles of the fragrances that you want to try. So that way you're only spending anywhere from $1 to $6 instead of maybe 10 times as much, 20 times as much. So it's a small investment for something you might really love or might not really like. So I found this method is extremely effective in weeding out the fragrances that I love, and also the fragrances that I'm not the biggest fan of. And so what I've done this past week is decant some samples, and I put them in this little 3 milliliter bottle that I got from Amazon, and I tried out a couple fragrances this past week. So I just wanted to see how it smelled on my skin and how it performed, and if I would just keep it as a sample, or if I finished the sample completely and wanted to upgrade to like a travel size or something a little bit bigger. So without further ado, this first sample is pretty popular. It is J'adore by Dior, and musky. I feel like overall those are the scent profiles that I just naturally gravitate towards too, instead of like the louder florals. It is, like I said, a great scent. It's very straightforward, very simple, two-dimensional, but it is big and opulent and has a very big presence, and I just find that that is not me. And I found too that, you know, I can appreciate a scent, but if it's not me, then I don't want to spend the money because I don't know, what's the point? And this next scent, this one might get me a little bit of kickback, but it is Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana, and this scent has been going around on TikTok for months now at this point, and I found it on the Decant website that I was on, and I was so excited to try this. I thought it was going to be just a warm, sappy, creamy vanilla. And yes, it kind of does have those aspects. However, in the opening, I just find that it's super screechy. Like there's just something in here that doesn't really mesh well with the other notes. The best way that I can describe it is like if you drank OJ and then brushed your teeth, but not in a negative way, just kind of in a neutral way, like it just is. So that's how I feel on that. I will say, after it's been on the skin and been on your clothes for a little bit, that screechiness does go away, but I will say it does smell synthetic, almost medicinal too, so I wasn't a fan of that. Unfortunately, depending on what your opinion is on this fragrance, the longevity is incredible. Okay, I will give her that. I smelled it on my skin the next day. Like she stuck around, and I respect it. It was a great experience. Glad I tried it. I will not be buying a full bottle. But my overall opinion is that there are so many more warm vanillas that are significantly better than Bianco Latte, and that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. fragrance, and that I do have to agree with. I feel like the ingredients are super simple and straightforward, and I feel like it really enhanced my natural skin scent. Lucky for me, my skin scent isn't gross. Like, there is a musky smell, but not in a negative way. Like, it just smells like skin. And when I applied this, I smelled it in the air and it was great. But as soon as it hit my wrist, the entire day, I just kept going and smelling my wrist. Like, it developed over the day and just became a little bit more complex, and then it mellowed out and it was warm and it was fresh. I really enjoyed it. The best way I can describe this in an abstract way is, imagine you are standing outside on a hot summer day and you are just standing and basking in the sun and just feeling it on your skin, and there's like a light little breeze, and in that breeze you smell your distant neighbors running their laundry, and that's overall what the scent feels and smells like. It's really nice, and that's kind of the biggest reason why I love fragrances so much, and why I'm so drawn to this journey is I love how perfumers are able to create and evoke memories of what was, and create these visions of something that you would see in a dream or what could be. Yeah, a big reason why I will buy full-size bottles of perfumes is because I am just so entranced with where it transports me. If it reminds me of a time or a place or a person or a thing, like I'm there. And with other fragrances, such as that J'adore one, objectively great, white florals, clean, awesome, but it didn't evoke that special feeling. But if you like Not a Perfume, or if you don't like the price tag of Not a Perfume, I would recommend you check out Glossier U. Their first perfume that they came out with. I know they came out with a couple more, but the initial release, it's definitely a similar vibe. It's still marketed as a Your Skin But Better kind of fragrance, but it is just a little bit more feminine and cozier, a little bit warmer. I already do have Glossier U, so I will not be buying a full-size bottle of Not a Perfume, but I loved it. It was great. If I came across it at a discounted price, then maybe I would buy it. I don't know. I have to get through Glossier U. And for my final fragrance that I tested this past week, this was an absolute winner for me. It is super rare for me to find a fragrance that just completely stops me in my tracks, but this one did. Genuinely, when I smelled this, it was like everything around me went quiet, and I just had this feeling of complete and total inner peace, and I got goosebumps. I'm not even lying to you. This perfume gave me goosebumps. Was I emotional? Yeah, a little bit. And that perfume is Parisian by Odette Perfume. is just shining down on you through the window, and your kitten is on the couch behind you, behind your head, and you decide to just go and put your face on her and just snuggle in. It smells like kitten fur, but not grotesquely animalic. It smelled warm and cozy, and it smelled like there were fresh baked cakes cooling on the counter. And so all of this just came together to create probably one of the coziest and comforting scents that I've ever smelled. And like I said, this is why I do what I do. spend money and just sample them. I want to evoke these different emotions, and yeah, I will say Eau Perfume Company has just the most beautiful scents that I've had the pleasure of smelling. There was another one that I tried called Coup de Bide, and it smells like a really yummy vanilla incense, and just extremely